So somebody reached out to me. We're having a break from all the educational stuff. So somebody reached out to me there recently and said, Olive, you know, what we see on your pages is work that's just recently done. So it's really fresh and it can look very, very dark. And sometimes it can give a misleading idea as to the expectations of what people expect when the work is done. Or they could kind of get alarmed and go, oh my God, it's so dark. So it got me to thinking about how to educate you in the visuals of when the draw or the mapping is done. I'll deal with the other stuff on another coffee talk. But when somebody comes into me with no eyebrows, even putting on pencil in the draw, let alone a dark pencil, can be really sort of alarming to somebody has lost their eyebrows for some reason. And that change in itself, if they don't normally wear a pencil, can be massive. So I decided to do a kind of a visual today as to educate you on what we do when we're doing the mapping of the brow. And we usually do it with either a pomade or a pencil. And they have to be a highly waxed pencil, because once we agree the shape, I don't want the shape to move, obviously, because I can change the color, I can change the density of the brows, but I cannot change the shape. So we can make it thinner and a thinner shape, and then make it thicker if you want to, but the shape can't be moved. And that's why when we're doing the draw, and I'm going to show some visuals now, that even like that is a fairly thickish pencil. Sometimes I use these tiny, tiny, fine nibbed ones. And I just see, can you focus there? Yeah, to actually give some sort of an idea. And so when we're doing the shape of the eyebrow, there's obviously going to be a border above and a border below, and then I fill in the shape. And oftentimes clients kind of think, oh my God, she totally does not get me at all. The reason I'm coming here is because she's being well known for being conservative, but this is far too thick and dark. So take this lady, for example. She's got no eyebrows. And so when a client comes to me, we use loads of different tools. We use that gauge. We use this gauge. We use this. And it's all got to do with the facial morphology. We also use, sorry, now I'm leaning forward here. This, and we also use a digital tool in order to determine the shape that is suitable for your face shape. So your eyebrow is going to be different to your friends, particularly if you've got a different face shape. So the whole proposed eyebrow shape is designed with your face shape in mind. So it's actually bespoke for yourself. And we also use a digital tool as well. And then once we predetermine the shape for you, then I go on to do the draw. So I've used those tools now to predetermine the draw or the shape of the brow that is suitable for this gorgeous lady. And this is the shape that is suitable for her, up 2/3, down 1/3. And I obviously go on to do it on the other side. So that is the outline. Now bear in mind that it's inside those borders that the work is done. So even though the outline looks as if it's, oh my God, so thick, it's inside those lines that the work is done. And when I'm wiping off the pencil, those borders are wiped away. So that slims the end result here by another 30%. And when I actually predetermine that shape, then I fill it in. And this is what it can look like before I show you the proposed shape. So here we go. So before eyebrow shaping, this is the shape determined and it is filled in with pencil. And I need to fill it in with pencil so that I have that guide when I'm actually doing the work. Now, you're not used to having an eyebrow when it's filled in with pencil, and usually filled in with a very dark pencil because I need to see where I'm going when the work is done. It can be quite a shock the day that the proposed draw is done. So that's why I always say to you, this will be thinner. This will be way lighter. This is a very dark pencil. All I want you to look at is to approve the shape. So the shape is what I tell you to approve. And the day the work is done, it will be very dark, and oftentimes people would say, oh, I want it to go lighter, and it'll also be a bit swollen. So this is part and parcel of your education, really, so that when you leave here, it'll look as thick as that. So here we go again, no eyebrow, and this is the draw. So the day the work is done, the reason we draw it in a very dark pencil, not only because I need to be able to see where I'm going, is because you need to know that even though if we use a very light pigment on you to start with, it probably will be as dark as that, particularly the day the work is done and the day after. In actual fact, and it will be also swollen the day the work is done by about 20%. That slims by that same 20% in 24 hours, but it could be darker again on day 2. And that's why it is very important for you to know and to expect that it is going to be dark for you the day the work is done and the day after, and then it'll gradually soften then by 30% over the next couple of days. So to go from that to that, and that will slim by 20%, is quite a shock for anybody who's got no eyebrows. Now, the only thing is that most people are actually, wearing eyebrow pencil for years, and they just want to get rid of that pencil. But anybody who doesn't bother putting on an eyebrow pencil, they can actually get quite a shock, and they could kind of think, oh my God, what am I doing? And it's very good for you to know that from a visual point of view, that yes, that is what it will be like, and that we can manage your expectations. It's not a reason not to have it done just because you got a bit of a shock. But the other thing as well is that I also want to show you at the start of the brow. Oftentimes clients would say to me, oh, I don't want this area here at the start of the brow to be squared off, and we don't do that here. So I've used a pencil here on a different face. So at the start of the brow, it's actually feathered. So when the pencil is wiped off, and this is what's left underneath, is this microblading hair strokes. And the start of the brow is where we actually do a kind of a curved area, and that you'd end up with a kind of a squoval. So this is microblading on its own. Now, this brings me back to people who have no eyebrows. I rarely advise anybody who has no eyebrows at all to have microblading on its own, because microblading on its own doesn't usually, depending on your skin, heal off to that feathery look. Sometimes it can heal off quite patchy, and in that instance I would usually tell somebody who has no eyebrows at all that they'd be better off opting into the blade and shade technique, where they'll get a kind of a light powder fill. And we demonstrate that in here when clients come maybe for a consultation or whatever, and this is latex skin, and I show you what the light ashy colours look like. These are the lighter colours, how they actually heal off microblading on its own. That's a medium brown. That's a medium brown as well. These are the colours that we'd use for people who are blonde or people who are very conservative, and all the way through to the darker brow. So this is dark brown. That's the colour that I would use on my eyebrows here, but anybody who is conservative, I would usually suggest that they go for a medium brown to start with. Or if you're really scared and just want to sort of, that you're totally terrified of it being too dark and too thick, we would in that instance then advise you to start with the light ashy brown or a blonde colour, which are very, very light, but we can always add to it at your step 2. So when you're following me on social media, obviously I do the reveal at treatment time, and it's work that's just freshly done. So it's usually, 30% stronger. It still has to heal. It still has to grow a new skin over it, which kind of gives it a little bit of a haze and a misty over it. And it goes through a whole healing process where it can hide under the new skin, and that's why you come twice, a minimum of 2 times. And we usually invite you back a third time just to review, to make sure that everything is A-okay. And if it's not, well, then it gives us an idea as to what kind of skin you have, and if it's troublesome skin, or it's it's a perfect opportunity to be able to sort of troubleshoot if there's any issues, or has been, in the whole treatment process. So when some people come for a consultation, they oftentimes say to me, "Oh my God, Olive, I like not too thick and not too dark." They're the first 2 things that people say: not too thick, not too dark, no square of the start of the eyebrows, and what's the pain like? And so I need to reassure you that we have a conservative approach here. So we go for a thinner brow. The shape is the most important thing. We can make the shape thicker, you see, at your second visit. We go for a light colour to start with, because we can always add to it. But you need to bear in mind the day the work is done is that, yes, we will go conservatively, but the day the work is done, it will swell by 20%, and that needs 24 hours or maybe 36 hours to reduce in size. And oftentimes people walk out my door with their eyes out on stalks and saying, "Yes, I told her that I love the shape, but holy God, she went too thick and it's far too dark." And that's because they tend to forget that there is the swelling. I do tell all of my clients when I'm doing the reveal, these are starting to swell by 20% already. This will be gone in 24 hours. And of course, they're going to be darker. But sometimes when you're doing the reveal, clients can go, "Oh, right. Please promise me that these are actually going to get slimmer and they're actually going to get lighter." And yes, absolutely. And you need to place your trust in me. I don't sneakily go for a darker colour, and I don't sneakily go for a thicker shape. I do the outline and use the pigment that we agreed on at the consultation part of the process. So so you need to, we work on this together. So, but people do walk out with their eyes out in stalks. And that's why we tell you to plan for it. If you're a shy and retiring type, some people might kind of go, "Oh my God, I can't see anybody this evening." Most people go straight back to work. They don't care. And let your family know that you're going to be coming home. You know, particularly if you were somebody who never had eyebrows before. Next thing, all of a sudden, you not only have eyebrows, but they're swollen and dark too. So you're trying to adjust to that also. And the last thing you need is disparaging remarks from people at home. So do let the people at home know that you need your support. Now, do people need support? No, they don't. It's just that, if you are shy, and this is totally new to you, and maybe you might be the first of your tribe that you're going to be coming home, particularly if you were somebody who never had eyebrows before. Next thing, all of a sudden, you not only have eyebrows, but they're swollen and dark too. So you're trying to adjust to that also. And the last thing you need is disparaging remarks from people at